Hey guys, what's up? It's JR Cuber, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the MoJue M3. So the M3 came out back in October actually, so it's been a while since this cube actually came out, but it came out at a time when 3x3s were coming out super fast. So what basically happened with this puzzle is I unboxed it, I put it on the shelf, I never even really solved with it after I got it. However, a couple weeks ago I actually decided to pick it back up again, lubricate it, set it up, and I actually ended up getting some pretty good times with it, so let's go ahead and talk about it. One quick thing I want to address before I start the review is this t-shirt. This is my new JR Cuber t-shirt. Right now, these are only Patreon exclusive, so if you want to get one, then you have to check out my Patreon. The link is in the description. Let me know in the comments what you think of the shirt. I think it looks pretty cool, so let me know what you think. Anyways, let's get on to the review. So the M3 is the first and still only 3x3 from a new MoJue sub-brand, MoJue. Let's go ahead and get all of the technical details out of the way as well. This is a 56mm puzzle. It weighs 75.2 grams, so not a whole lot heavier than the Gans Air, so it's a very light puzzle. It comes with mostly stock MoJue shades, so the orange is a bit different from what I could tell. It was a bit more fluorescent than normal MoJue shades like you see on the Waylong GTS, for example. They also have this weird like white border around it. It's most noticeable on the red side. It's also on the orange side and a couple of the other sides, but most notably the red. And it seems to be because there's like a white coating underneath, and then there's like a layer of color over top. And so that layer of color is kind of starting to peel up now. So these are like a little bit lower quality stickers, which is weird because this is an $18 puzzle at the Cubicles. So the stickers are a little bit weird, but it's not that big of a deal to get a replacement set if you'd like to. The cube does not pop or corner twist because of the squared off corners. The corners are super hard to twist. It's even hard to actually just force them to twist, not even for them to twist during solves. Never had problems with popping or corner twisting. In fact, I don't remember the last time a cube ever popped on me. So now let's talk about the turning. So the turning of the M3 actually kind of reminds me a little bit of a magnetic puzzle, but much lighter, much more toned down. It just has a bit of a bumpy feel that kind of helps the cube, not really, like I guess sort of click into place at the end of every turn. That's the best way to describe it. It's pretty much not noticeable when turning quickly though, it just, the cube has a bumpy feeling, you know? So the feel actually reminds me most of the Guanlong, which was one of the first ever budget speed cubes. It was $4 made by YJ. So the M3 overall is very crunchy and moderately fast. I lubricated the puzzle with Traxxas 50K on the core and Lubrical Silk on the pieces. Great combo, gives the cube a good feel, and it's not too fast. Unfortunately, the M3 is a bit too unstable, so the cube really just wobbles around a lot when I'm turning it, and just handling the puzzle in general, it just has like a really just kind of flexy feeling, like it just kind of all jumbles around. It has a hard time maintaining its proper shape. Interestingly, however, I found that this wasn't super noticeable when I was turning very quickly, so I tried a few different turning styles with the M3, one of them being super aggressive and just turning as fast as possible, high TPS, and I actually found that because of its more like unstable feeling, it could flex more, so it actually wouldn't lock up as much. Still did lock up, just like any puzzle would when you turn aggressively, but it wasn't as much as I was expecting, and it's definitely not as much lockups as you would get if you used a Valk really aggressively, for example. I would also say that some of the minimal catching I experienced with turning roughly could also be part of corner cutting. So corner cutting isn't amazing, it's pretty good, but at really high angles, you really need a lot of force. So generally if I overshoot, then I need more force than I normally would to push through a turn. So lockups can be a little bit more common because of that, but corner cutting is pretty much on par with everything else for the most part. However, overall, no matter what turn style I used, I still end up getting my same average times that I would normally get with any cube. And personally, I think that's the most important thing about a cube, is whether or not you can get good times with it. And I do get very good times with this cube, so that's good. So before I give you guys my final thoughts on the M3, let's go ahead and take a look at the mechanism. So the mechanism of the M3 is very similar to most of the modern 3x3 mechs. The edge piece is a two-part edge as usual. It has a couple of shallow tracks that add the light bumpy feel. Other than that, the edge piece is quite a simple design. The corners are a bit more interesting. So the corners are ultimately a 4-piece assembly. There are 3 parts built around a stock, which is a similar design to the Valk, but not quite the same. The corner stock comes to a sharp point at the edges, which is pretty unique. Usually the stock is much more rounded. Another notable design choice is that the corner is completely solid without any hollow areas. This is why the cube lacks any sort of airy, swishy feeling. The centers are pretty boring, nothing really to say. They're more rounded at the top and more squared off at the bottom, but that's really about it. So as for my final thoughts on the M3, I would say that it's a good cube that was ultimately overshadowed by all of the releases that came around it. So like I said, it came out at a time when a bunch of other cubes were being released, and I feel like a lot of people just overlooked this one. I also think it's a little bit too expensive for what you get. Like I said, the stickers are pretty low quality. Stickers aren't really a huge deal, but it's just something that I guess I wouldn't have really expected. But overall, it just seems like it's not really worth the price. However, that's not to say the cube is not good. I actually did end up breaking my PB average of 5 with it. So I enjoy solving on it, but it's just not a cube that would become my main, and I just don't know if it's worth the price. The people I would recommend the cube to are rough turners. Like I said, the cube works best with a rough turning style. Anyways, that's really all I've got to say about the MoJue M3. If you haven't decided on whether or not to purchase this cube, hopefully this review has helped you out. The link to buy this cube will be down in the description if you would like to purchase it. Anyways, thanks to the Cubicle for making this video possible. If you guys like this video, give it a like. Links to all of my social media and my Patreon are down in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.